What's going on, everyone? Can y'all hear me? All right, so what I want to talk about today is creating lookalike audience campaigns for you're using your Facebook ads. So what I'll go through today is I'll kind of walk through the whole steps of setting up the ads. Once again, if you weren't here last week, then you wouldn't know. But if you were, then you probably have an idea of how to set up the ads. I kind of ran through that, but I'll just run through everything again. But basically what a lookalike audience is Facebook is taking the data from your pixel and then it's finding people basically who are like a similar audience to whichever event happened on your website. So you can do purchases, you can do add to carts, you can do view content. So basically Facebook is going to look for people that viewed your content and then they're going to create an audience that they think is similar to those type of people. So then what you can go through is you can test different ranges and stuff like that. So you could test 0 to 1%. It goes up to 10% basically. So you can test different ranges up to 10%, with 0 to 1% being the most accurate. And then once you start getting up there in percentages, then it's going to get less accurate or more general, I should say. So what you want to do is you want to create a campaign for each of these type of events. So you may have one campaign with purchases, a lookalike audience with purchases, and then what you'll do is in your actual ad sets, you'll test the different ranges. So you might have 0 to 1, then you might have 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, all the way up to 10. And what you're doing is you're just testing those different ranges as your ad sets and seeing which ones convert the best or not. Let those run for a few days, spend about like $5 to $10 on those, and then turn off the ones that aren't working. And then the ones that are working, you can duplicate those and then double your budget or increase your budget and just make a whole nother campaign. But I'll show you just the process of creating everything right now and creating audiences and doing lookalike audiences on Facebook. Let's see. I can get here. All right, so go to your ads manager. And then first things first, when you want to create a lookalike audience or any type of audience that you want to use, you can use this for retargeting as well. When you're in your ads manager, so to get to your ads manager, just do like business.facebook.com and then click right here in the left-hand corner where it says business tools. And then what you want to do is you want to click on audiences. So before I even go over that, what you have to do is you have to check your pixel because you only be able to create lookalike audiences once you have enough events on your website. So you have to have a certain amount of purchases, you have to have a certain amount of adds to carts, you have to have a certain amount of events to go through your pixel for you to even create these lookalike audiences. So how you check that is you go to events manager. I think you have to have like 100 events or something like that to create these lookalike audiences. But just make sure that you know your pixel is all set up because your pixel will let you know all the events that have happened on your website. So if I look right here, this is within the last 28 days. We have an event, we have the page view event. As you can see, we got 20,000 events. We have view content, 5.9, add to cart, 599, initiate checkouts, purchases, searches. So these are all the type of events. And then these are the events that you can create lookalike audiences based off of, or you can retarget based off of these two as well. But yeah, so you have to have a certain amount of events for you to be able to even create a lookalike audience. So that's how you would just view your events right here. Go to your data sources and your events manager and then your data sources and check that. So now actually creating the audiences, go to audiences. And then what you want to go to is you can go to create audience and then you want to do a lookalike audience. Right. So you can this is where you select your sources right here. So your source, you always want to have it as your pixel. Your pixel is basically what you installed on your website for Facebook to be able to track all the data that comes to and from your website. So the first thing you can do is you can do purchases, right? So you would just do 17th watch it or whatever your pixel is. And then you have your purchase, which is your event. And then you have your number of lookalike audiences. So what you can do is you can just basically create different ranges of audiences. So you can test all of these. So you'll have your first lookalike audience from 0 to 1. Then you can have one from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. And like I said, what it says right here is audience sizes ranges from 1% to 10% of the combined population of your selected ad set locations. So 1% consists of the people most similar to your lookalike source. Increasing the percentage creates a bigger, broader audience. So the higher you get in these percentages, like, so if you go to 9 to 10, the more general or broad the lookalike audience will look alike, will be similar to your event. But the lower you get, so if you go to 0 to 1, the more accurate it's going to be when them finding a lookalike audience, pretty much. So now, so we got 0 to 1, so you can create that one. So you just go to create audience. So I've already created this before, so that's why it's not popping up. So you create 0 to 1, right? I already created it, so it's not gonna let me make it again. But then now I would go 1 to 2, create another audience, hit create audience, then 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and just do that all the way up to 10. So you're testing the ranges. So 4 to 5%, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 9 to 10. So you're creating all those audiences. I already have these created. I believe they're down here. So I already have these created using purchases, right? So I'm testing all these ranges pretty much 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. I already created that, right? So if I want to go in, I want to do another lookalike audience because I haven't for a different type of source or a different type of event happening, I should say. Then what I'm going to do is I'll create a lookalike audience again, but this time I'm going to use the pixel, but we'll choose a different type of event, right? So if you want to do view content, then you can do view content, right? And I have 0 to 1. View content, create the audience. And then I'll just create another one, lookalike. And then I'm gonna do view content again. But anyways, so this is what you would do. These are gonna pop up, or you're gonna have access to these as you get more events on your website to create lookalike audiences. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do view content again, but this time I'm testing the 1 to 2. So I'm testing all these percentages pretty much. So now let's just say we want to do purchases, a campaign with purchases with lookalike audiences. So I'll just go back and then I'll go back into my ads manager. And then what I want to do is I want to test that out. So I'm going to be doing this from scratch, but if you already built your cold interest campaigns, you can duplicate the cold interest campaigns. And then you could just change the change who you're targeting to the lookalike audiences. But I'll just do it for the people who haven't, like, you know, seen it created before or not. But if you already created these campaigns, then what you can just go in and do is just go in and duplicate it. And then just change your ad sets to whoever you're targeting for your lookalike audiences of different percentages. So I'll just go to create. And then I'm doing conversions. Continue. All right, so let's just say I had a specific product, so let's just call it the Red Trailblazers. And then I'm gonna do lookalike audience purchases. So the campaign name is named after the product, and I have that is a lookalike audience, and it's based off of the purchases. So that's the actual event. No special ad category. Turn your campaign budget optimization off for the moment. Just start with $5 to $10 per day. So then you just go to next. Right, so conversion event location should already be good. Website, you have your pixel. Your ad set name, I'm gonna call this, I'm gonna call this 0 to 1%. So basically you're gonna have an ad set for each, or you're gonna have an ad set for each percentage. So scrolling down, daily budget, let's just say you wanted to test $10 per day, start the next day. So Thursday at 12 a.m. Now here's where you actually would go in and then you could add. So right here, take off your detailed targeting expansion. Now, this is where you can go in and you can add your audiences. So custom audiences, you can search for your existing ones, right? So now what I'm looking for is I'm looking for purchases, right? So I'm looking for 1% using purchases. So I'm scrolling, I have all these different percentages already, but here it goes right here. So 1% pixel using purchase. So this is the first one I'm testing, right? So that's good to go. That's good to go. Take off the detailed targeting expansion. Do your manual placements. I take off Messenger, audience network, and then you want to do your Facebook, Instagram feed, and then take off Facebook Marketplace, take off the Explorer page, and then you want to do Facebook and Instagram stories as well too, and then take off everything else. So make sure all these are selected off. So we just have Facebook and Instagram stories and then Facebook and Instagram feeds. Those are where the ads are going to pop up at pretty much. So leave this as it is. And then now you actually go into your creative. So what do you want your actual ad to look like? So remember, always use 2 creatives. If before you've already, when you did your cold interest and you tried those two different type of pictures or videos, and you found one of them to work and you go ahead and duplicate it, you want to use that one, that's fine as well. But you can also use 2 as well. But that's if you already previously tested it with the cold interest campaign. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to name this Red Trailblazer. And let's just say image 1 or picture 1, doesn't really matter. Right. So like I said before, if you weren't here last time, what I like to do, and then I got this from Dantes' Facebook ads course. So I like to use the previous pictures that are already connected to your Instagram account because they already have engagement, they already have people interacting with them, comments, likes, things like that. So it's going to be easier to convert people if they see that other people are already interested in your content or in your product. So connect your Facebook page and your Instagram account. Or if you want to just go ahead and not do that and just use your own actual pictures, you can do that as well too, but you just have to create your own ad and then add your own copy to that as well. But I like to use stuff that already came from the Instagram page. So I'll just go to use existing posts. I'll go to select posts. I'll come here and I'll select the Instagram. And then what I'm trying to look for is I'm trying to look for any post that has the red Trailblazer in it, because that's the product that we're doing it for. All right, so we can see right here, I'm looking for something that already has like a lot of comments and a good amount of likes or whatever the case is. So we'll use this as our first one right here because it has 449 likes and 17 comments. So already has some engagement on there, which is cool. All right, so then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go to your shop now and make sure your website URL is directing them to the page that you want them to be on. So I want them to go to the Red Trailblazer page specifically because that is the watch that I'm trying to sell. So direct them to your product page. So I'll go to shop all. And then I'll look for the Red Trailblazer. I could have just went to men's watches and that would have been better to find, but all right. So as you can see, we have the Red Trailblazer right here. So that's where I want to direct people towards. So going here, once again, I'm sending them to that specific page. I have the shop now button. Make sure that your website and your pixel ID is selected right here when it goes to tracking. And you should be good to go now. So now what I want to do is I want to add another image. So then what I'll do is I could quickly duplicate this image, right? So now I'm going to call this Red Trailblazer image 2. Everything else should pretty much be the same except the actual image that we're using. So we're just going to go to change post, Red Trailblazer, right? So let's see, this one has 336 likes and 17 comments. So we'll use this one too. And it's a different picture from this first one right here. So use different images because they may resonate different with the people who you're trying to target, right? So you got your shop now, which should be good. All this should be good since we just duplicated it, right? So now what we can do is we can go back to the actual ad sets, right? And then what we want to do is we just want to test different percentages that we created for the lookalike audiences. So then we can go to duplicate. And then let's just go for 9 or whatever the case is. All right, so as you can see, we got 0 to 1, 0 to 1. So what we have to do is we just have to go in and change these percentages. So I'll just try to keep everything like neatly organized. So I'll just keep this first one at 0 to 1 and we don't need to change anything about that. I should have took copy off of this one, but it's all good. So we got 0 to 1, right? So then the next one, we'll go 1 to 2%, right? Take the copy out. And then I'm just scrolling down. So all you have to do now is you're just going into your audiences and you're changing that percentage. So instead of testing the top 1% or 0 to 1%, as you would say, or as you could say, now you just test 1 to 2%, right? So I'm looking for purchases using lookalike using purchases, and then it's 1 to 2%. So scrolling down. So 1 to 2% is right here. So now we should be good to go with that. So as you can see, this is the audience, 1 to 2%. The ad set is named after that. Once again, make sure this lookalike expansion is off. And then make sure that your detailed targeting expansion is off too. So I'm not gonna do it for all of them, but just for you to get where I'm going, I'll do the next one. So we'll go 2 to 3%. Testing $10. So then I'm scrolling down once again. And then I'm looking for, once again, pixel using purchases. And then I'm going to go from 2 to 3%. So you kind of get the idea, right? So 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, all the way up to 10. And you're just testing these to see how they work. Let the ads run for a few days, like 3 days or whatever the case is. See how they perform. You can turn some of the ad sets off that aren't performing well. And then eventually you'll be able to duplicate the ones that are performing well into another campaign, but increase your budget. So you're just testing to see which of these lookalike audiences are performing the best, right? So this is only doing a lookalike audience campaign for purchases, right? If you want to do another one, I could create a red trailblazer lookalike audiences for view content or add to cart or the other ones, but it's a similar process, right? You're creating your campaign, you're doing conversions of purchases, and then you're just testing different percentages, right? So then you do 0 to 1%, 0 to or 1 to 2, once again, but this time the audience that you're gathering is not purchases, it's view content or it's add to cart. You're just testing those different type of percentages. And then you see which ones work, which ones don't. How to actually say you want to shut an ad set off, but you want the ad to keep running. If it's not performing well within those like 3 to 4 days, all you have to do is you have to go right here, and then you would just select this off right here. So then what it do is it will turn that ad set off. And then now your money will get spread to these other ad sets. But that is pretty much it for creating the lookalike audience campaigns. It's pretty straightforward as well too. The main thing is just kind of testing things and seeing what works out or not. Let me see. Your share screen. Okay. So, what about the new iOS update? What about gauge shopper interest? Should we narrow it down to that? You can try that as well. I never did that before. But you could try that as well too. I think the key is just testing all those different type of audiences too. So one thing I didn't mention is you can have, if you have an email list, right? You could create a lookalike audience based off of that email list as well too. You can go into your audiences, and then what you would do is you would just upload everybody's emails. First, you have to download a CSV file and then upload all those. And then you could create a lookalike audience based off of your email list, or you can create a retargeting audience based off of that email list. So that's a good one to try. There's different type of ways you can try. But I just say just try as much different things as possible, because there is like no one specific formula, right? What work for somebody else may not work for you, or what works for somebody else may work for you, but you may have to like add your own twist to things, or just try different things out. So curiosity and testing is what's really gonna like, take you the furthest. But I just try and give you a preview of the things that work for us or the things that we're doing, and then you could imitate those as well and then adjust as you need to be. But the new iOS update, I think that's just, I guess Apple and Facebook kind of had like a little feud, or I don't know what it is, but it's not gonna pop up. Your ads aren't gonna be showing on some, shown to some people who have that iOS update or whatever the case is. I think Apple is trying to protect people from, their data being like, Facebook getting access to their data and doing whatever they do or whatever the case is. But I just kind of ignored that. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked too deep into what that is, but yeah. So I think that's it for today, y'all. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Do you still get charged if you pause or turn your ad set off? Well, I'll go ahead and answer this question. No, not if you turn that specific ad set off. So let's just say that you were spending money on that ad set, but you turn it off. That money is not going to be spent on that specific ad set if it's turned off. So yeah, so that is it. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all learned something valuable. And I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Appreciate y'all once again. All right, y'all.